Hello, I'm Guber, and welcome to another episode of Anything But Authentic. On today's episode, I'm going to be making elote-style wings. In case you don't know, elote is corn on the cob that is commonly sold on street carts in Mexico. It's basically grilled corn brushed with some butter, a light layer of mayo and Mexican crema, along with a sprinkle of grated cotija cheese, chili powder, and a squeeze of lime. It is super simple, yet it is extremely delicious. I mean, I love to eat elote whenever I get a chance on one. It is just that good. And since summer is coming up and there's gonna be a lot of grilling going on, this recipe would be perfect if you plan to have a barbecue party. I mean, corn's gonna go on sale, and of course you're gonna have to make elote. And since you're already making elote, might as well just use the same ingredients to make elote style wings as well. It's the best of both worlds. It's a very simple recipe. I personally loved it. I hope you do too. Let's get started. First, we're gonna marinate the chicken. What I have here is around 1 pound of chicken wings. I'm just gonna add it to a medium-sized bowl, along with a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. The reason why I'm adding baking soda to it is because I want the chicken wings to be a little bit crispy. If you don't care too much about the wings being crispy, and also if you don't have the time to marinate this to make it crispy, feel free to omit this, but I think it makes a world of difference and I highly recommend it. And then I'm gonna add around 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar. The reason why I'm adding sugar, I mean, besides the fact that I always add sugar to my salty things and salt to my sweet things, elote originally is eaten with corn, which is a little bit sweet. So that's why I want to add a bit of that sweetness back into the recipe to kind of give it more of that elote style wings. And then 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of chipotle chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. Now, the onion powder and paprika is completely optional, and that's just something I prefer in my wings. If you don't like it, feel free to omit it. Again, the world is your oyster, so whatever other spices that you typically like with your wings that you just like to experiment and add to it, feel free to do so. So after all the spices are mixed in, feel free to just use your hand to just mix it around and make sure that all of the wings are coated nicely. So all the wings are very nicely well combined. So now what I'm gonna do is gonna put this uncovered in the fridge for at least an hour. Basically, we want to leave in the fridge so that the skins gets dried up. So when we bake it, it gets a bit more crispy, which is what I ultimately want. Again, if you don't care about your wings being crispy, feel free to skip this step. Even if you decide to skip the baking soda, I highly recommend to let it marinate for at least half an hour, just so all the spices and flavor gets infused into the wings. Other than that, I suggested to leave it in the fridge overnight. But if you don't have time, an hour is enough. So I'm gonna see you back here in around an hour. Alright, after an hour, the wings should be pretty marinated by now and dried up a little bit. Again, if you have time, I highly recommend you to marinate this and let it dry overnight. It'll make the skin dry up a bit more and make it even more crispier. Other than that, after around an hour, you want to take the wings out of the fridge and just let it sit at room temperature for around 15 minutes. Basically, you want the wings to come to room temperature a little bit just so they can cook evenly. While we wait, I'm going to preheat the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to see you back here in a little bit. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. The oven is nicely preheated at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. What I did here is I lined a baking pan with aluminum foil. And so what I'm gonna do now is gonna line the chicken up onto the pan. And this is around 2 tablespoons of butter that I melted. So I'm just gonna lightly brush the wings with the butter. Again, this is very elote style. I'm just gonna be mimicking it. And I mean, butter will help make it crisp up even more and give it a bit more of a buttery taste. It would just taste even better with the butter, so. And then you wanna flip the wings so that we can coat both sides of the chicken with butter. Alright, the wings are nicely coated with butter, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the oven for around 30 to 40 minutes. You want to make sure that you flip the wings halfway through, just so that the chicken is baked evenly and that it crisps up evenly on both sides. So I'll see you back here in around 30 to 40 minutes. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that even though I said at the beginning that this recipe is meant for grilling occasions, I personally don't have an outdoor grill yet. That's why I'm using the baking method. But if you have a grill and you love to recreate this recipe, feel free to grill it instead on your grill. You basically want to grill it for around 20 minutes and you want to flip it every 5 minutes or so. But around 20 minutes is good enough. Anyway, so now we're gonna move on to making the mayo mixture to brush on top of the chicken after it's done. So what I have here is half a cup of mayo. I'm gonna add in to be whisked. Half a cup of sour cream. Half a cup of grated cotija cheese. 1.5 teaspoons of chipotle chili powder. Around 1 tablespoon of chopped cilantro. And a zest of 1 lime. And then juice of half a lime. Then lastly, 1 grated garlic. And then just give it a little whisk. Alright, so this is pretty well combined. I'm just gonna set it aside while waiting for the chicken to finish up. Alright, it's been around 35 minutes. The chicken is looking great. We're not done though. I've turned my oven into broiling mode. So now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put it back in the oven. Let it broil for around 3 to 4 minutes. Basically, I just want the top to get a little bit charred. And then I'll see you back here in a little bit. Alright, I let it broil in the oven for around 4 minutes. It's looking great right now. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish coating the chicken in the mayo mixture and then top it off with the rest of the ingredients here. Basically what you wanna do is just take it out easily like this and just coat it in the mixture. Alright. We'll just add some more chipotle chili powder. Some more grated cotija cheese. And then some extra chopped cilantro. And then just some extra wedges of lime on the side. And there you have it. Before I continue though, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. With that said, let's dig in. So I'm just gonna take a wedge of lime, squeeze over just a piece I'm gonna eat. As you can see, I couldn't stop just eating one bite. It's that good. It's perfectly crunchy and creamy and a bit spicy from the chipotle chili, tangy from the lime, and it's just, I don't know who came up with the original elote, but that flavor profile, it definitely worked on wings. And I highly recommend it if you are gonna have a barbecue party or you just love elote as much as I do and just wanna try it on wings instead. So good. Anyways, thank you for grubbing with me, Guber, and don't forget to check the description below for the full text recipe. And I'll see you here next time on Anything But Authentic.